How do you... How do we switch to the computer?
Isn't this a Mac?
Yep. And I need it for my video. It won't play on a PC.
I don't know how we switch that. Maybe Dan will know. Dan will know. He's at IT. Hold on. Hello, good evening. Okay. We need to connect this to here. Can it be that?
Is it a Mac?
Yes.
It is. I need it to go just to the projector.
Okay. I don't have a Mac, so let me, we ought to be able to figure it out. Let's see, College of Music. So you're trying to, so where's your connection?
It's here.
There it is, and is it acting like it knows it's there?
Let me see if I can do it. You're on here.
Yeah. So I'm going to look and see if I can see how we can connect it, because it's going to...
Just turn mirror display on.
There you go. It's there. See, I didn't do a darn thing. I'm just...
Crisis averted. Yeah. Before you go, do you know how to make sure that the audio comes out up here? How to turn the audio on, or...
Oh, I don't know this all, but let's try. Can you turn on it? I don't hear any sound. Can you play something? And let me go up here and take a look. So this is turned on. So it thinks it's on. Let me go over here.
You tell me. Yeah, sit here.
Trying to get volume?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
out of this,
Yes.
we don't have an audio cable going into the audio here, so we don't get audio into the system.
Oh, okay. So it's a Mac, so I didn't know.
Well, Mac or PC, there needs to be an audio signal out of here into the system.
But I wasn't sure what the connect, if the
That's
connect.
just a monitor.
Oh, and that's just a VGA, so that's not going to do it. Yeah. Okay.
I have a cable.
Oh, yeah. If you have a cable, that would be great.
Oh, it'll be much better than this. I'll go get a cable.
I should have brought my, but he's got it.
Did you bring your Mac?
I have mine formatted for PC format. So like a CPA. So is this your Mac?
Yes.
So is everybody using it, or are we using that one?
You're using this. My presentation's loaded up on this, so.
On the Mac?
And they couldn't optimize a video. Time to figure it out. So to have it play on a PC, it's an MP4 file. For some reason, it doesn't play on PCs.
Is that a PC
Yeah.
format? I formatted mine both, just to be honest. Did you bring your clicker? Your universal?
No, I didn't know, so I'm just going to have my...
Oh, we do not have clickers.
I don't think we have clickers.
I'm giving you the timer now.
Isn't that
You're going to use this.
I guess you get to have a podium.
the clicker? Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
no more programs. That's...
So are you leaving yours up for other people to use, or are they just, that'll be...
Everybody doesn't use this. I'm just bringing my laptop with me.
Yeah, because it's competitors. John.
4 people are looking at you. 5. We're live.
I didn't know that. Do we put, thank you. We put them in there or on the side? I saw another USB port.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter? Okay.
This might be better. I don't know
See.
if it's infrared.
It is. It has
Okay.
infrared. Also, you have to do is just point at it when it goes in.
Okay.
Now,
Volume is here. Let's lower the volume a minute.
you should just be able
Can I
to
get
hear
some
that.
audio playing?
I have one other question.
I'm just popping the.
So if I put mine down there, it'll automatically open there. I have mine formatted for either PC or Mac. So which one is it?
How about now?
This is a PC.
Nonsense.
Okay.
Let me just go to the video, so you have constant audio.
Thank you.
How's the screen looking? It's good? Should we lower it a little bit? Is it too high or is it okay? Is it okay?
There we go. Great.
I'm going to lower the volume on the system.
Did you want to program? I have one. You have one? So yeah, I guess it's right here. Maybe you need a chair so you can sit right here so you're not close to it.
You can do your thing.
Oh, I don't want to put the contract. So you can just.
Into the computer.
Ah, thank you. Should I go and put it?
Yep. I'm done now.
Okay.
Yeah, I assume we're going in this order.
Is the screen okay? Does it look good?
Are we going in this order?
Yeah.
Okay. So should I go ahead and
Yes.
mine get set up?
Okay.
How do you want? Is the timer going to go beep, or do you want me to just be like stop as soon as it goes, or do I let people finish their sentence? Or how do you
1 minute before giving a warning. And then by the time it's done, say thank you.
Okay.
Give them a warning. And you can judge it.
They said they're doing 4-4-2.
4-4-2.
Yes.
Throughout. And then
And then it's
tomorrow, imagine we'll do.
should get 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do a 5 minute bit and then we can do show them where to go. They have an envelope in the green room.
I have the envelope for the audience choice.
No, but you have to give it to them.
Oh
for
yes,
them
they
to
have
bring.
all their envelopes in there. Yes.
So in those 15 minutes after Jen has presented and all the other story,
Yep.
now is the time to go to them directly and to ask them if anyone wants to talk with anyone. You have 15 minutes, and then we're going to close the vote at 8:45. We'll schedule it to close at 8:45.
I can't
So
so
what?
do it.
Okay, so while they're giving the feedback, you can at 8:45 you will get the vote and figure it out. So by 9 p.m. we know who won.
Okay. Okay. So 8:45.
Oh, I escaped from it.
While they're voting, I'm gonna
No,
hang
it's
these
not.
up.
It's not going onto the screen.
Oh, you have to go to the other screen, I think.
You have to drag it onto the other screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you can do that.
Can I ask you a question?
I believe
Are
you
we
go
having
this
them
way.
Forget about the mics. There's no time
even
for
for
that.
Stan?
For them, yes. For the judges, yes.
Literally. Here, I can. I just need to check on this computer. Right.
One of them may not be the right one. Maybe you want to make sure you're using the library. You set up? You ready?
Yes, ma'am. I guess I'll need to move it over there. But I'm
Okay, so
sure you
let's
want
have
to-
everyone have a seat. Guys, we need all the competitors to sit here in the front row.
Is my mic working? Is my mic working? It is? Is this mic working?
Hello? Hello? Hi.
Hello? Hello?
Is it working?
Hello?
Yeah.
It's working? Yes. Do you want me to pass this?
Where's Ed? started. We're ready? Is the audio okay? Can you hear it?
It seems to be delaying a little bit.
Okay, so that's okay. Ready? Okay. Things coming out of my head. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for joining us in our inaugural Music Entrepreneurship Competition. This night marks the culmination of months of work during which our music students have been brainstorming, collaborating, thinking in innovative ways, and using their outstanding creativity to explore problems that need solutions. All while acquiring skills to create, manage, transform, and market their own unique music businesses. They have attended workshops, used online resources, worked with mentors, and have set time apart from their busy academic and work schedules in order to prepare the business plans they will present today. I sincerely congratulate them for their efforts. I'd like to thank our Dean, John Richmond, for his enthusiastic and generous support of this event. I'd also like to thank our judges, Dr. David Cutler, Debbie Brooks, and Stan Levenson, for sharing their expertise, excitement, and interest. Thank you to our preliminary round judges, Kristen Yos and Nikai Bay, for their insightful feedback to our competitors. Also thanks to our competition's advisory committee members, Dr. Danya Emanuel and Dr. Daniel Peak, for their encouragement and guidance. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my teaching assistant, Leanna Johnson, who helped me implement all of the ideas I came up with in creating this competition. In a way, it was just like starting a business. From idea generation to pitching and fundraising to plan implementation and marketing, this music entrepreneurship competition is a living example of what it takes to start a business, including adapting to challenges as we went. Tonight, you will get to meet the fantastic teams that have made it to the grand finale. You'll listen to the judges' questions, ask your own questions, and vote for your favorite team. For all of you watching us online via Facebook Live, you will also be able to vote for your favorite team, so be sure to stay tuned. We hope this experience will allow all of you to enjoy seeing the results of hard work, creativity, and innovation. It will be a great evening, and I wish all the competitors the best of luck. Thank you again for joining us in our inaugural Music Entrepreneurship Competition.
The slideshow button isn't working.
What if you go to the slideshow at the top?
Resume. There you go. There.
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah, you need to reverse the screens.
Do you know how to do that?
At home, I do not know.
It's showing there.
Yeah, it shows here for some reason. So it goes.
Like that? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Phillips, and my business idea is entitled Festival Finder. I've gone to many clarinet summer programs over the years that have greatly shaped the way that I approach the clarinet and music in general. And these experiences are so important for musicians to have, to network and to learn And I found when I was looking for a program to go to this summer that it can be very hard to navigate the websites for these programs, to find if it'll fit into your schedule, if it fits into your price range, and so on. So I would like to create a user-friendly search engine website that will help musicians to find the music summer programs that meet their needs. The business will run on selling advertisements to music summer programs and other companies that sell their products and services to musicians. I will be in charge of selling these advertisements and also gathering the information for the search engine, and I will need to hire a web developer to actually create the search engine. I plan to attract these advertisement customers and the website users through advertising in places such as TME, Southwestern Musician Magazine, and in instrument-specific publications such as the International Clarinet Association's The Clarinet Magazine. Now, people could easily go to these places to advertise instead of Festival Finder, but these publications have smaller audiences that they reach, where Festival Finder will have a larger audience of musicians looking for summer programs, and the price to advertise on Festival Finder will be on the low end for these advertising spaces. And it's no secret that there are already search engines that exist that are similar to Festival Finder, and two examples are Yap Tracker and Auditions Plus, but these websites mostly cater to voice programs, and I want Festival Finder to have programs that cater to all instruments, and the information on Festival Finder will be completely free for users to access, unlike on sub-websites like Yap Tracker. And I'd like to see the website grow in the variety of programs that it has information on, and also reaching new companies to advertise for. And I envision selling advertisements to 10 companies and programs in the first 6 months and 20 by the end of the first year for a flat fee of $62.50 per month. If I did that, then the revenue for the first year would be $11,250. And when you take away the first year's expenses of website development and advertising, then the profit for the first year would be $8,960 with a profit margin of 79.6%, and breaking even would mean selling advertisements to 4 companies in the first year. And if you take those same expenses for the first 6 months, then it'll total $1,788 to start the business. In summary, these music summer programs are very important for musicians to be able to take advantage of, and the information about them is not always very accessible. So I would like to make this information more accessible through a search engine website that runs on selling advertisements to music summer programs and other music companies to offset the cost of running the website. Do the judges have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. So I've definitely talked to musicians who have had a hard time figuring out what the right program for themselves is, so I understand that. Questions about, so how many eyeballs do you anticipate will be on your website in the first year, let's say?
I would like to have about 200 users in the first year. Users will need to make an account to use the website. It'll be free, but they create an account to use the website.
And how many festivals do you anticipate would be there in the first year?
Probably about 200.
So 1 per user.
Right.
Okay, and then is it your only revenue is through advertisements?
Yes.
Do you offer, beyond this database, are there other things that you offer?
To the website users, besides the festival information? No.
I'd like to ask, are you making any effort to contact those opportunities for the students to work in? Your primary audience is your students for summer opportunities, but are there any activities or initiatives you have in mind to encourage those festivals to attract interest?
Do you mean for advertising on the website? Is that what you mean?
Anything.
Okay. Well, as far as advertising on the website, it'll, like, as I was saying on the slide that compared, it's on the lower end of prices for advertising, and so it would be a good way to reach a lot of musicians, because that's the main audience.
When you say, so what is the advantage of summer camps being involved with this? You say there are 200 users. Some camps have more than 200 participants themselves. So how do you convince, I mean, your main revenue comes from advertisements from these camps,
yes,
right? So what is your sales pitch for them when you have 200 users?
That, well, in the beginning, starting out, I mean, my expertise area is clarinet, so I'm sure it'll start mostly with that and then expand, and that goes for both word of mouth of me being able to get the information out about the website for website users, and also for contacts that I have with people who may want to advertise. So I think since it'll start with mostly website users that are probably clarinetists, and it'll have a lot of information on there about clarinet things, then it'll be a good target audience for them. And as I learn how to get it to work for clarinet, then I'll be able to apply that also to other areas.
How did you come up with $1,000 for website development?
An average price that I've seen online for web developers to create a search engine like what I'm looking for is around $500, and I've also done research on how much it would make to actually have the website, and that the highest price I saw as far as the places that I looked was $500.
Have you decided on a partner to go on the website?
Not one for sure, no.
How many music summer camps are there in the United States?
A lot. I know that there's a lot, and that right now, if you go to any list online where they say, here are some music summer programs, they don't come anywhere close to having everything. And so it will take a while to have information about all of them, but I would like that as a goal to have information about as many as possible.
Is it 10,000?
Sorry, we're out of time for those
Okay.
questions. Apologize. Yes. So we have just a few minutes for a few audience questions.
So would anyone like to ask a question to Festival Finder? Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. I really enjoyed it. And I wondered if, as a part of your visioning for this company going forward, did you imagine expanding beyond festivals? So, for example, we had one of our own students recently attend the festival only to discover it was a competition. So there are many music competitions also, and kind of making your way through all of those and identifying those as a similar challenge. I wondered if that is something you think might be a possible phase 2 for your company.
That's possible. I have thought about that. I really want the focus for now to be on specifically music summer programs and festivals, but after that really gets settled, I could, if there's a demand for it, I have ways that I want to be able to keep in touch with the website users, which is why I want them to have an account with an email address, and that could, and I'll ask them for feedback every year at the end of the summer. So if they ask for that, then I'm sure I would look into it.
One more question? Yes.
Do you have a plan for expansion past just a website browser?
Not right now. I would like to have some social media pages to help raise awareness of it and draw more people to it, both website users and also advertisers, but besides that, no.
Okay, thank you so much.
This is really difficult.
How is this different than?
I have no idea.
Yes.
And now the mouse isn't.
Okay.
If someone knows how to reverse the screen, they can do it. I don't know how.
Okay, so here. Thank you so much. from the beginning.
You notice it's not showing up, so I would,
Okay.
I would go back to the regular view and then
Yes.
just drag the whole thing, I believe, to the right.
If you could show me how to do that quickly, thank you.
As far as the setup
Yeah.
of the slides.
Okay.
Oh, there's a second. Okay.
Yes, so then now you can do the walk over there.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't know why it won't do it, but.
Okay, you know, it's fine. This is good. This is good.
Let's do it. Yeah. Is this good position here?
Oh, wait, hold on. Get a little bit, oh, yeah. And come a little closer if you would to the phone. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay. Hello, my name is Kurtis Shaffer. I'm an undergrad at Jazz Studies musician here.
I'm Troy Garrick. I'm Converge Broadcast Media senior here at UNT.
We are OG Garden. We are a band in Denton, Texas.
Yep, and this is our business plan as an independent musician.
So this is a little background of us and who we are. So we're a band in Denton, Texas. Our name is OG Garden. We command the genre of future soul. We blend pop, funk, and modern R&B. The band separates itself from the pack with high-energy live performances. Delivering styles from Stevie Wonder to Frank Ocean, OG Garden and its 6 eclectic members aim to be like the face of Dallas music and Dallas R&B. So this is a little clip that.
Fine.
you can't hear.
Cool. And
So these are a few headshots of the band so you can just see more clearly who we are. We have a vocalist, which is Troy. I play saxophone and synthesizers. Hunter Strasser plays guitar. Joey plays keys. We have a bass player and a drummer.
also,
Try to play your audio.
it's okay. Cool. So, management.
Cool. So we operate as a 6-member self-managed team. We do not have a label at this time, but we prefer that because we operate in a way that we can tailor all of our social media to our needs. So each decision made by the band is made through unanimous agreements and majority voting based on principles laid out in our business agreement.
And our band agreement is on page 7 of our business plan for the judges.
The audio will play, by the way.
It's
Just
okay.
need to wait for it a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and timeline. This is the things that we have done and the things that we want to do. So for our short-term timeline, we have released 1 single that's on the way. We have played our show during South by Southwest, and we have contacted the college booking agent who we are now contacting with. We have met half of our financial goal for the half year, and we have played for 2 established acts for opening, and we have played 1 festival this year. And this is established in January of 2017 this year, and these are our long-term goals on the right. So the business type that we are a limited liability company, which is the members of the company cannot be held personally liable for the company's debts. Awesome. So here we have our target demographic. These are our college students, millennials, avid social media users, and music festival goers, and our fashion-forward thinkers. We have a growing social media fan base of over 2,000 fans, and here is the branding that we emulate. And
So our distribution and marketing, so our music is currently available on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, Pandora, Google Play. Right there is oggardenband.com. That's the best place where you can find all of our outreach and all of our media. We're also licensed with BMI.
yes. Sorry. So our pricing philosophy, we open for an establishing act at $500, private events $1,000, college performances around $2,000, and music festivals will take about $3,000. These are average prices of starting bands. So our main priorities when booking an event is high monetary gain, high exposure, reaching our target demographic, and opportunities for merchandise sales. And financial information, in a half year, we would make about $6,500 if we achieve all of our goals. Approximated cost about $2,600, leaving us with about $4,000 for the half year. Now, our question to you is, will you book OG Garden for your next event? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you. Each of our names are on the signed LLC right now, and we are actually taking that this week. We went and we were sent to the wrong office this Friday, so this week we'll actually have it.
An attorney or legal team, or how do you
We're not using an attorney as of now, but once we reach our financial goal of $3,500, we'll use those costs to afford that, just in case we need any extra budget per month.
Okay, so this is getting in the weeds a little on the financials, but when you have a band,
Yes.
you know, if one of you leaves and you have 6 names on that LLC, how are you going to deal with that?
So in our band agreement on page 7, we have it laid out, the things that happen within the band. So we agree that if you leave the band, that you no longer have your name attached to it, and that would be things that we would sketch up with our attorney later. But within our band agreement, which is something we also have all signed, is something that we would refer to first and then take to our attorney to show that we have a document that says whether or not, like, that's something that was detailed before. So it would be of no surprise to a band member if they're no longer receiving funds from our music, why that happened.
So I like a lot of things about what you presented. I like that you guys already have a history, that you really focused on your business model and you're thinking about your fans. Is this mainly a local group, or is this a touring group in your
So
model?
we currently operate, and we played shows in Austin, Dallas, and just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Texas-based.
It's Texas-based because we're students here, and so our outreach currently during the semester is extended to mostly Texas. But in the future, we plan to do a college tour in which we will go to college events and play through them. We also plan to do a West Coast tour.
One issue with not being local is you have to establish your local fan base before going off. So if we played a show in Oklahoma and no one knows who we were, that would be a problem, and we'd be playing for 2 or 3 people in a bar. So what we like to do is make sure that we hone in on our home fans, which would be more accessible. We can play more shows to have our name travel. Then we would play with establishing acts in other cities who are already established and have a built-in fan base at those shows. That's when we would capitalize on playing outside of Texas.
So when you're talking about a national market for this, I want to know, what is unique about you? What is, when you're looking at the whole nation, what is awesome about you? Why are people in Oklahoma going to be excited about you as opposed to all those other bands?
Very fair. OG Garden, we are, firstly, all 5 of the musicians of the band, aside from me, are jazz studies majors, and they're very trained. I was a pop act, and I did my own solo album, which is how we came together. We found a way to mesh our 2 sounds. The thing that we pride ourselves on is that we operate just as hard on the business aspect of our music as we do on the music itself. A lot of bands are waiting for opportunities to be created for them. Instead, we go out and create our own opportunities by sending aggressive booking emails and finding those opportunities where we can fit in. We know that it's hard in this very populated DIY band like time, so we are finding a way to make it known. Obviously, it's according to the taste of each person, because no one has the same favorite band as the next person to them, but we want to find our niche fans and capitalize on those super fans who will keep us going and grab those other fans in likability.
To add that, we're just really honing in on our authenticity of who we are, and so we just want to expand on our authenticity going forward, so that, you know what I'm saying?
And our authenticity is based on the fact that we are not under a label, we are our own brand, and every single thing you see, social media, advertising, is made by the 6 band members. So it's clearly what we are, and we're not putting on that facade as a pop band.
If your market position is the new R&B, are you doing new renditions of old standards?
All the music is original composition. It's original music, and we all have taste in the old and the new, and so that's where we can bridge a broader audience, because we have taste in the old and the new.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Audience questions. I'm sorry, I clapped too soon. Audience has time for a few questions. Yes?
I know that you guys released an EP on Spotify recently. How much success have you found in your usage of Spotify and expanding past the local?
Awesome, thank you for that question. So we have 320 monthly listeners on average. We are not able to get all the algorithms that Spotify and Apple Music hold to themselves, because sometimes they're not very transparent with their artists. But for us to see, we have 160 followers only on Spotify, and we would hope that that's similar to what it looks like on the other music apps that don't necessarily tell you what that is. But 321 monthly listeners is the best thing that we can give you for now. And we do hope that with more singles, more shows, that we can reach a broader audience, and obviously playing for more established acts, and hopefully festivals in the future will grow that audience.
Yes?
You don't do any covers at all?
We actually do covers, especially we will do some covers for an event that is more tailored. Like we did a private event for an SMU fraternity, and so they had like a formal event, and so we played like a Stevie Wonder cover. And so we do some covers, but we do like to expand on the fact that we are an original music band first, and so we don't want to get we don't want to get twisted and do too much cover music because our focus is original.
We would like our success to be based on the fact that our original music is compositions that people enjoy because it is original, rather than being successful off of someone else's music, which would defeat the purpose of our band.
Yes, sir.
Professor, you can probably make a coaching comment. I didn't really like the presentation, but it was well illustrated. When you talk to us, speak in our direction and not toward the back.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
We don't always hear everything you say.
Absolutely. So there are a few technical difficulties trying to. The screens are different than what you see, but thank you for that as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Nope. It's Quinn. No, sir. Thank you. We do not know.
So if anything, we can test it.
Where's the... Does that work? Just test it. Now, maybe? I might have to stand here then.
Is the clicker not working?
No, it's not.
That I know of.
Did,
Do I have to point
is
it?
it plugged?
Unplug it and replug it.
Where's the... Is it the yellow one?
Did someone take it off?
So just the phone and the yellow one?
What's her name? Did you take the clicker
Did you
thing
take
out?
the clicker off?
No, I took out my own flash drive, but not.
Where's the flash drive? Okay, here it is. Maybe this, is this yours?
It's not ours.
Okay, now see if it works. I'm reconnecting it.
Oh, there we go. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ready?
Wait, let's make sure you're all fit. Come a little closer.
I'm going to do over here.
It's gotta be good.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Everyone in this room has gotten to this point in your life through different means. And as a result of that, we've had different experiences. Different likes, different dislikes, different things we want out of the world, and different things we want out of art. Now imagine an artistic experience that was so diverse in style that was something that you could take home and enjoy later. Something that you and a loved one could go to, have fun, take home, and really think about and talk about. Something that would stimulate all of your senses in such a way that included music, dance, visual arts, theater, film. That is ECLECTIVE. We are a group of writers and producers dedicated to creating and curating events of diverse and new art. One such event working right now is actually a short film that includes dance, music, and film elements.
All right, so I'm going to set the stage for the film just a little bit for you guys. Imagine, if you will, you're sitting in a dark theater. 3 screens tower above you. Behind you, you hear a projector hum, and suddenly, you see leaves blowing in the wind. On the right, from the audience, you hear a flute singing distant bird call. On the left, a rain stick becomes a babbling brook. And as you watch the screen and the characters, you notice that they're strung somewhere between reality and something more surreal, as they transition from spoken word into dance. And as they begin to move, they draw on the emotions of the scene and they propel the story forward, drawing the audience into an immersive sound and visual journey.
So what is a product? What is our product? And is a product a physical object that you can hold with your hands and it's tangible, or is it just an experience like the thing that Grant just mentioned to you? ECLECTIVE would like to give you both. We want you to not only be able to live these performances and experiences right in front of you, but we want you to be able to take them home in a piece of art or a soundtrack or anything like that, so that you can continue to enjoy what we create.
This ongoing film collaboration is not merely a single event. We have arranged for it to have a number of screenings at a number of venues. Through our contacts and networking, we have arranged not one, not two venues, but 6 different venues as of now, varying from the Merrill Ellis Intermediate Theater here at UNT to the Angelica Film Center. By having such a variety of venues, we're outreaching our audience, making this a more inclusive experience of eclectic art.
Hi, I'm producer and treasurer here with the UNT Short Film Club, and I had the pleasure of being a part of the collective when I was brought on to help with the beginnings of the surrealist film. They'd already put together one recital, and we're finally incorporating all visual mediums that we're wanting to put forth in our final goals. We've got a guitar event planned and also a string quartet planned with the same immersive experience of our 3 screens. And we built our business model off of the idea of 3 stretch goals where our revenue will go mainly towards compensation of performers, of writers, and the staff that helps put together the events themselves. And our event revenue is, of course, ticket sales, and then we have our merchandise, our soundtracks, hard copies of the CDs. And then finally, we'd like to license our shows. And the goal is to have a show in every state by the end of this year. That way we can focus on the audience experience of this event.
So yes, you, our audience, the people here right now, such as yourselves, supporting us, being our fans, we want to create something for you that is immersive, it's inspiring, and our track record we have, our events that we've completed already, and our events that we have planned, our short film in the future that we're all very excited to bring to you. These sorts of things, these events, are what we have planned as part of an eclective. So when you go home, it's not the end of the event there. You will go home with something that you want to talk about. Thank you.
Where are you in the process of your 501c3 formation?
We are currently in talks with the lawyer. Poorbaugh actually is the lawyer we used to work for. So we've begun the initial processes of it. We're not like very far along in it at the moment, but the process has, yeah, we're aware of how long the process takes.
Who's your board of directors?
The 5 of us, aside from Brennan, are the forming directors.
You mentioned that classic music is fading, and you're hoping to really attract renewed interest, especially among younger audiences. How does this relate, if you will, to the appeal for classic audiences?
Certainly. I think the draw of any sort of medium is what we've mentioned, the sort of experience when you go in here. Someone sits in the hall and hears Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, this triumphant, scary almost opening, and it moves you. It's part of the art that moves you. Going and seeing a ballet and being moved, the suspense at a movie theater. Creating something like that is more of the continuum of sound, of art that we're envisioning, rather than leaving something solely behind, but moving into what we're seeing as being a trend and enjoy it today.
I'd also like to add, we're trying to stray away from the stigma that you can't understand the music if you don't have a music degree. We're trying to make it accessible for, not someone who maybe just has a passion for it, but doesn't necessarily study.
You guys are good storytellers and really got notes. And you have ambitious goals. You want to have something in all 50 states by the end of the year. And so here's my question. I want you to convince me that you're going to be able to make that happen. Tell me how you're going to get it in all 50 states. But is the end of the calendar year or the end of the academic year?
The end of the calendar year, December 2017.
Oh. So how are you going to do that?
So, since we last spoken and we started this whole process, we came together, we looked at what is available in every state, and the art houses, we looked at what high schools would want to put this on. We looked at what community groups that do theater, dance would want to put together something like this, and it was reaching out, and even just a simple Twitter message was, hi, have you ever done any intermediate shows? And the response that we got just over the past weekend was, we haven't, that sounds great, what do you have? And it became already making those connections of, mainly the southern area as of now, because we're more familiar with that, but even just over social media, that reaching out and saying, hi, how are you? Would you like to try this with us? has already given us 5 other states.
It's very insistent marketing. It's basically our plan to take the time ourselves and our own days to call, emails.
You're already in 5 states now.
We have contacted them. We are not solidified. We've contacted them.
8 months ago.
Yes.
Yes.
We will work very hard.
So you said you want people to go to an experience and take something home. What are they taking home?
Well, they can take home a recording of the thing that we're doing. They can take home an actual physical art piece of whatever we're doing. They could take home the film itself. They could take home the soundtrack itself. Basically just any way that the performance can be captured in a more physical aspect, I suppose.
It's how like diverse the actual like mediums are. Everything can kind of be broken up. Like there's sound, like there's music and there's film. There's a soundtrack and then there's a video. There's sheet music. There's live performers. There's all these little things that we can kind of give to the audience.
Choreography for the dance.
So we have very little time. Can you talk to us about your financial model?
Oh, yes, sorry. Click this over there. Here we are.
So basically, we have it broken up by these are different revenue sources. Here's purchasing merchandise, and we're focusing on compensation of staff.
Thank you. Audience questions?
Yes, sir.
So you guys talked about your short film. I guess I'm kind of confused about what kind of event you allow like hire the artists to
Okay.
Is it just you guys?
No, it's like we've already had one music recital, which was just based on music, and for that we ourselves hired out mass performers to play for us, perform us. So all of us are writers, so we like kind of write the music, write the film, write the choreography, and then we kind of put together, and then with our motto, we will hire musicians to play it. And that's when we host and curate our own shows. If it were to be the licensing thing, then we would license that to the other companies, and they would be the ones that do it. So we've done music shows, we've done a short film, we'll be doing a string quartet collaboration that will feature, videos and things like that.
So all stuff you bring.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You need to be in places that have 3 screens.
No, actually, the 2 side screens are meant to be projected on walls and whatever mediums you have within the space because it's meant to be immersive.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Have you thought about VR?
Yes, that's actually something that I have delved into. We as a collective have not delved into it yet. We're trying to make it through these events, but yes, that is a projected goal. Surprise, guys.
One more question, I think.
No more question. Mason?
Yes.
I think it's great that you want to work in intermedia, and I know you're on musicians, but what experience do you have with other art forms?
Well, each of us, that's a good question. Each of us have worked at art forms before. I've worked in dance.
My expertise is theater.
I've worked with video games.
I've also worked with dance.
Film.
Technologies and installations.
So we've all kind of like dipped our toes on our own into these different various genres and different mediums. So now as we're coming together as a collective, we can really focus our energies and create a single event that encompasses all those various things.
Rather than having to feel discouraged that maybe I don't have the expertise to do something like that, I turn to Evan and Grant and say, how do you give someone lines? How do you write a script? I have this idea of having someone say something. And he is my go-to expert, essentially. We all have a pool of resources within each other to talk on.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we're going to transition now into the graduate track. All of these contestants that you heard were undergraduate students, undergraduate teams. So we have 3 undergraduate teams and 3 graduate teams. And yesterday, they all had a private coaching session with one of the judges. So for today's presentation, the other 2 judges that did not work with them are the ones asking the questions. But they all had an opportunity to practice their pitch and to get very helpful feedback from the judges.
How can we test the sound?
Test the sound.
She needs some.
Just use my laptop. Put it into my laptop and just use it.
I did bring 2, so I can use your clicker.
Put it, plug it in.
And are we worried about sound? Where's John Murphy?
Where did he go? Yeah, how can we test it?
It's already working on my laptop.
The sound is?
The sound is? Thank you. So what does that mean? That they'll hear it or only from here?
Okay, how did I do this? Come on.
It's not showing up on the screen.
Yeah, I'm aware. Thank you.
Sorry, just
Oh, no, it's okay. All right.
Is it working?
So,
I didn't realize it. I have two. I have one for PC.
where is your...
You have to be in there. Yeah?
It's not showing up in my computer.
You're switching to his computer because sound will work.
There we go.
Oh, that's a good sign. And the one for Mac. Should open up.
All right. Oh, is it a JPEG?
I don't know. Oh, that's a bad sign.
Because it's opening from preview, and I don't think you can play.
So you want to try, do you do PowerPoint?
Yeah. Matt can read everything, so this is fine.
In fact, you're right, it has aired it before,
Yeah.
I think. And the clicker should work. We'll see. Just click to this one.
Yeah, or at the center, wherever you feel comfortable with. It's a big file.
There we go. That's a good sign.
So it's just reading it as a JPEG right now. It's not going to read it as an interactive presentation.
Seriously?
Yeah, so...
Unbelievable.
And you need sound?
Of course.
Is it working?
No. How about...
And why didn't you do it in the other computer?
Because there's not going to be
sound.
any
Oh,
sound.
here we go.
No.
But the
So
sound
where's
was-
your sound? Sound worked on my computer, but they don't have it linked up for the internal computer to go through the system. So where's your sound file?
No, there's
To
just...
test it?
Oh, it's down here. This one?
So if you want to play it, we can
Try it.
try and,
Audio?
Yep.
Down here. Oh,
Okay.
try it again.
So when I get to that one...
Try it,
Just
try it.
just try it.
Try it now.
Okay.
Let's test it.
You can't do it unless you open it up into... until you open up into slideshow.
It's
Yep,
here. Click
it's
here.
down there.
Click
It's a little
there?
presentation.
Right there, baby,
Yep.
right there?
Yes, yes. Now click
So
on it.
try it.
It should work, I guess.
Volume up?
Volume's all the way up.
It's just not clicking on it.
Click on this side. Yeah, it's not working.
Sometimes you have to open up and slide in order for it. Well, now that he's here, let's put it in there. And I guess that's the only way to do it. Take it out of your computer and put it in theirs.
You can do that.
Will it work if I put it into your computer? Maybe you're faster at projecting it.
Hey, I want
Which one? This?
If this is a PC, then that one is. So then I won't need your click.
Hey! There it is. It's on the screen even though it's not showing on the... Oh god. to present the way it's supposed to on there.
Okay. Do we have time to try one more thing?
If you want to give it, I mean, how long will it take? How long?
Want to try my laptop? All right.
Let's just get going.
Okay, it's not working. Wait, let's try one.
There's some way to flip the screens, but I don't know what it is.
No, I did put it actually on the external drive, except I saw that it was not being accepted right there.
Hey, it matches.
If anyone can fix this.
Perfect. Thank you.
Can you check the audio real quick?
That's a good sign. There we go. Woo! All right, that's good.
Is that the beginning?
So that's not the beginning. Escape and then. Well, thank you for your patience, and thank you, John Murphy, for helping with that technology issues. My name is Sarina Bachleitner, and I am the founding director of the Jazz Apprenticeship Program. The Jazz Apprenticeship Program has been in existence for 17 years with a mission to pass down the legacy of jazz mentorship through performance and educational opportunities. I'm very excited to announce a new project of the Jazz Apprenticeship Program, and this project involves UNT students. It's called the New Jazz Immersion Program, and 6 UNT jazz majors will be chosen to travel to New York City for 7 days to immerse themselves in the jazz scene, to meet, study, and rehearse with the famous Vanguard Jazz Orchestra. Not only will they have the opportunity to meet these great musicians, but they will be able to rehearse with them in an intensely challenging performance environment. They will also have the opportunity to work with them individually for private lessons, to gain mentorship and guidance in terms of how to conduct their careers. And also the students will be expected to go out into the jazz community in New York City and meet other local jazz musicians and network with them, as well as they will be assigned some projects, also fieldwork projects, that will help them develop their business skills. And as you can see, they also will get free room and board. Why the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra? The Vanguard Jazz Orchestra has been in existence for over 50 years, and they're one of the highest echelon of musicians in that band. And not only are those band members incredible musicians, but many of them are seasoned educators that have a great affinity for jazz mentorship as well. So what I did was I conducted a little bit of a survey here at school to find out, to share with you at least a video of what this program would mean to the students. And let's hope this works. Oops. Nope. that shouldn't happen. John Murphy? Oh, okay, sure, okay. Well, right now what's supposed to be happening is I'm interviewing all the a bunch of jazz majors from the UNT jazz program, and I'm asking them, if you were to go to New York City for 7 days, what great band would you want to work with? That's all right. I'm just going to turn that volume down so you don't screech. So what's happening here is, so I asked a bunch of UNT jazz majors, what great band would they want to be able to work with when they go to New York City? And every single one of them said the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra. And so then also what I did was I interviewed a professor here, Rich DeRosa, who knows a lot, who's also taught in my jazz apprenticeship program in New York City. And I asked him what he thought of what this program would mean. And he does talk for about at least a minute about how wonderful this program would be for students to be able to sit in and rehearse with the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra. So I felt it was important to see that there was a professor here that highly endorsed this particular project.
You mentioned the goal is to meet, study, and rehearse.
That's right.
And I applaud you for the success you've enjoyed in the past decade, more than a decade. But my question is, in developing business skills, what you're proposing for visits with other organizations in town, is that adequate?
I think it would be. I think what you're asking is what kind of business ventures are they going to have when they get there for the 7 days? I have set up on the first day that there would be a meet and greet where I invite a lot of local jazz musicians, I know many, that would come and they would basically agree to adopt some of these 6 students for the week and invite them to recording sessions that they're doing. They will be able to invite them to jam sessions that they might be holding, some private lessons. And so basically these 6 students would follow them around New York City for the 7 days. Not only that, but some of the projects that I had been assigned is that they would go and they would meet with jazz venue managers to discuss the process of booking a contract, what it is to fill a room and to get more clientele into a club, and also things like how to negotiate money and things like that. And a lot of these projects I would set up in advance to some degree. At the same time, I think it's also important not to overly enable and to also make sure that they have these assignments that they are to go out and network on their own. And then at the end of the day, we have a group session 3 times during that week where we all get together and share information that they have found.
So you are already a 501c3, correct?
I'm almost a 501. I'm now a nonprofit corporation. I've gotten the corporation status, but I haven't filed the tax exempt status yet. But that's only, really, it's only because there's a charge for that every year.
And this is only open to UNT students?
This particular program is. I have other programs that I've run in the past that's open to other students as well. But this particular project, I kind of came up with this when I got here because I saw the talent that was here and they have the motivation and the degree and the knowledge, but I know what they're in for when they get out there. And I felt that given that I had 35 years of experience as a self-employed musician, I know the contacts. I felt that this would be something to offer to help them get acclimated into the real world.
How would you pick the participants?
There would be an application process. Part of it would be that they would send an audio video, of course, of their level of musicianship, an audio recording, but also they would have to do an essay to describe what this program would mean to them and maybe what kind of individual project would they want to pursue when they get there for the 7 days.
I love that you're almost a 501c3. You're maybe like a 498 or something. So I wanted to know, who are the different stakeholders that will benefit from this program and what will the benefits be?
Different stakeholders. Well, I don't know if there are actually stakeholders, except the fact that I do.
I mean, I'm assuming that the students will benefit from this.
Absolutely.
So I'm wondering what the benefits are to them, and I'm wondering if anyone else will benefit from this program besides the students.
Well, I do think the benefit of this program directly, yes, will benefit 6 of these UNT students, although this is just the pilot. My initial, I don't ever just plan anything in short term. The long term would be that it would not just be for these 6 students, but there would be another 6 students that also would do the same, they go to New York City for those same 7 days, but they would maybe have an opportunity to work with the Mingus Dynasty Band or something like that. But to benefit them, to be able to go and work with really seasoned musicians, I think is, in and of itself, very worthwhile.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I get some audience questions?
Any questions? Yes?
Hi, you mentioned that this is going to be fully funded. I'm wondering where all that money comes from.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
You mentioned that it will be fully, they will have the board, these students to go, and I'm wondering where that funding comes from.
Yes, okay. So one of the reasons why I've wanted to become a nonprofit 501c3 is everything that I've ever run has always been tuition-based. I've always charged quite a bit of money for tuition, and I know that there have been times when it's possible for some students to pay for that and others aren't. So the nonprofit, what I'm hoping is to build some funding for it. I've never really done funding before, to be honest, but I am a hardcore negotiator in terms of getting many venues to come down in price and to be willing to donate their time. I already have New York City hosts that I already have 5 out of the 6 that are willing to take students in during the 7 days. I already have someone who's donating a location. So right now, at least in terms of funding it, I'm now tapping into all the connections that I've nurtured over the last 35 years for people who believe in every project I've done to donate time or locations and all of that. And then I'm going to go and have to really, tap into my fundraising skills and work on trying to raise more money from sponsors and maybe initiate maybe some grants as well.
One more question?
Yes.
You said that you've done public things, people have paid before. Are you would you consider whether or not students able to afford a different partnership or financial I don't know how to say that right word. So would you look at their financial ability to pay for another program like this, or would you be open to the most qualified path?
Oh, good, very good question. Yes, I would like this program to be, one of the reasons why I wanted to become a nonprofit organization is that I know that there's a lot of jazz students that sometimes they have parents that can pay for things and other students that have parents that don't pay for anything. And I don't want this to be a privileged opportunity. I want it to be an opportunity that's for everybody. So yes, I do think the ones that can pay will pay a tuition, and the ones that can't pay will be available for a sponsorship program that I've planned a little bit of.
Thank you.
I hope you have better luck than I did.
What would you like to do?
I would like to test my audio, please, sir.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I'll find it.
Okay, thank you.
We're good. I should be able to. We're good.
Still have audio?
Yep.
Here's your volume.
Yep. It's working, but
Give us a second.
sure. Is there a recital in here afterwards? No. Okay, good. Good.
We have it until like 10 p.m. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, thank you all for coming here this evening. My name is McKay, and I'm here to present Musician's Bookkeeper. I was a freelance clarinetist in upstate New York and played with a handful of orchestras before coming to Texas. While I was there, I was also a bookkeeper. I have managed over 30 different companies, including artists, restaurants, and nutritionists. It's my unique experience as a musician and bookkeeper that generated this idea because I saw a need for a specialist for musicians to have someone to support and aid them in keeping their financial records. So, the Musician's Bookkeeper is a subscription-based bookkeeping service that does just that. It supports and aids my fellow musician. So you might be wondering what a bookkeeper does. Well, as a bookkeeper, I will look at all your financial information, both personal and business. From that, I will generate a profit and loss report by entering in all your tax-deductible expenses and your personal expenses, so you actually know where all your money is going. The Musician's Bookkeeper has already set up working relationships with CPA firms that specialize in doing musicians' tax returns. So our subscription packages are the Etude, Sonata, and Composer. The Etude is our basic bookkeeping package that offers monthly account reconciliations, monthly profit and loss reports, quarterly meetings to discuss your finances, and tax documentation preparation. The Sonata, our full-service bookkeeping package, is the Etude, plus the options for payroll processing, customer invoicing, collection services, money management strategies, and retirement planning. The Composer is our mix and match a la carte option, where you can customize your service that best fits your needs and your budget. So as musicians, we set out not to become millionaires. So the Musician's Bookkeeper is a price-conscious option for musicians. So just to put our prices into perspective, the average lesson in DFW is $20 for a 25-minute lesson. So for a little more than 3 lessons a month, you too can have your very own bookkeeper that knows your business and can speak your language. So now I'd like to share a story. This is Emily.
Emily is in her mid-20s. She's a freelance clarinetist and a lesson teacher in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Emily is booked solid with gigs and is teaching over 60 students. Lucky Emily! Before work is rewarding, she finds that she has no free time. Poor Emily. This is really stressful when it comes to tax day. She is so busy that she waits until the night before to do her taxes. And she discovers that she has kept bad records, so she estimates on her expenses just to get it over with. Poor Emily. She runs the risk of missing deductions, losing money, or even being audited. Don't be Emily. Hire the Musician's Bookkeeper. We take care of your books so you can make the music.
So at the end of the day, you deserve to go home and relax. You deserve to have free time. You do not need to keep your own books. You've trained to be an artist, so be an artist. Let us keep your books so that you can make music. Thank you.
I'm shocked to learn that some musicians have financial issues. How much time do you spend with each of your clients?
In the beginning, it's an excellent question. In the beginning, I would have to spend about 5 hours to get to know the client, get to know their needs, and to go through all of their records and to code all of their expenses. But other than that, I would spend the once a month quarterly meetings. It would be probably around 30 minutes per meeting, and actually, I am going to only offer this to DFW-based musicians, so I will drive to them and make sure that I can meet with them face-to-face so they know and they can put a face to their bookkeeper.
You mentioned really focusing on service, which I applaud. How many clients do you expect to service?
So in the first year, I plan to service only 40 clients.
Can you do that in a very service-minded way?
Yes.
That many clients?
Absolutely.
And help with the books?
Yes.
And process the records?
Completely. With the advances in modern technology, bookkeeping is actually very easy for those who understand the details in it. So I am planning on becoming a QuickBooks Pro advisor, and I will be a master of their software, so therefore doing your books will not be an issue for me.
I wanted to talk to you about my wife, Emily.
Okay.
It's just a joke. But she's struggling to get by. This is just hypothetical. But if a musician is struggling to get by and they can't manage their records and the likes, this is $780 per year at a minimum, right? That's their minimum price point. I'm wondering what kind of research you've done because I'm worried that musicians are going to want to spend almost $800 a year on this service. What research have you done that shows that they will?
Well, the other option would be spending $700 a month. I've called multiple different bookkeeping services around the DFW area, and bookkeeping services of Plano quoted me. I was posing to be a private lesson teacher in the area. Quoted me $700 a month to do my books.
And how many musician clients do they have?
They said that they are familiar with our work, but that was the answer that I got. But they were familiar with our work,
and that's a very low price for maybe another kind of business. But again, I'm just wondering if you have some validation. People say, yeah, I would spend $800 a year on this service for a musician just trying to get by.
There is interest already. I answered a question for a musician out of Austin, and I mentioned my bookkeeping service, and they said that they are interested in contacting me once I get it launched. So the price they have not seen yet, but it is completely affordable. It only costs the equivalent of 3.5 lessons. So for 1 month's worth of service.
Right. So it is much more expensive than just subscribing to QuickBooks, however. So I'm wondering if you can just sum up what is the main benefit of going with you over just QuickBooks?
Sure. The main benefit is that I do your books so you can have more time in your life.
And do I send you my receipts, or where do you get all
So
this?
I would set up a secure link, and you can either put it into a Google Drive sort of platform, your bank statements, your bank and credit card statements. If you have other receipts that are not reflective in your bank statements, then you would send them to me, or I would come pick them up. So it would be set up in a secure forum where there's no chance of it being compromised.
Thank you. If somebody doesn't want to do monthly, what about quarterly?
Quarterly?
Oh, are we done?
Yeah.
I can still answer that.
Answer. Just answer, yeah.
We're done.
Not, okay.
Just short answer. Just give a short answer.
Not a problem.
Okay,
good. That's good. That's short enough. Any questions from the audience?
Yes, sir.
I have two data integrity questions. What are you going to do to get cyber tech on your computer? And how are you handling the possibility of physical destruction of your computer?
Great. It's an excellent question. So I have, in my business plan, which I haven't showed, but I have encryption and software development written into my business plan. So there are services out there that will protect with an incredible firewall my technology, and I have all of my information backed up into a secure cloud, also protected by that same software. Yes, sir?
So I've been an avid consumer of accounting services my entire life. I think it's probably maybe a little pricey for traditional tour musicians, and but I won't go into that. I just wanted to know, I bet you have a grand staff, and after that you go to a level above.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing?
Do I have to? You have a grand staff, and after that you go to a level above.
Oh.
Very serious.
There's a question about.
Yes?
Would you consider lowering your price to reach a larger audience?
Well, actually, the composer's option is just that. It's, anyway, it is, it's the mix and match option, so you can just do whatever services you need to fit into your budget, and we will talk about that and discuss price when you meet with me.
Do you have sole proprietorship or an LLC, or what is your business model there?
So I am going to be a LLC filing as an S corporation. But I have not filed any of that stuff because I have my own performances to do. Once this year wraps up, I will be filing all the paperwork, doing all the bylaws to get that done.
Other ones specific because I'm trying to get a full shot of other people to answer very well. Thanks.
Somebody else logged in on this account that I can sign them out?
Sorry?
Can I sign you out, please?
Wait, that's not her computer.
Oh, this is Kyle's. I'm sorry. This is yours. I thought this was.
Oh, no. Do you need help?
Do you mind if I sign you out and use this?
Yeah,
or-
go ahead.
Okay, appreciate it. I'm sorry. I thought this was here the whole time.
If you're going to use this, let me plug it in again.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it.
You need a picture?
Sure. That would be great. That was a great presentation. By the way. No. I didn't trust it. It's like working with trained animals.
Can you push that close?
Is it the center button?
It is the right button.
Is it because this is closed?
Probably because it's Google stuff. And not PowerPoint. Curtis.
Can that be closed? Farther?
I'd rather not because it's going to interrupt with the cables. Just
Just so it's not wide open.
hit the right arrow. Just want to give you a point. Really appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jesse Myers. I'm earning my master's in jazz studies, and today I am very excited to show you my product entitled Penny Patron.
The product came to me when I was thinking of one very simple question that I asked myself. What if you got paid to practice? What if all that time you spent, the countless hours in a practice room, led to not only higher artistic achievement, but monetary income as well? Currently, musicians face a serious dilemma: precious time being siphoned off working on secondary jobs not related to music. Any music composed loses revenue to audio streaming services such as Spotify or Tidal. Securing regular gigs, especially if you're new to an area, is increasingly difficult, as well as emerging pay-to-play local business models, where venues ask you to pay to play at their venue rather than the other way around. It's increasing in both Los Angeles and New York. Finally, there's playing for exposure, which is a travesty on all counts. Patron hopes to solve this issue as a live audio-video streaming platform. Users can simply sign in, log on, and with any recording device, start practicing. Viewers can act as patrons through one-time donations or monthly subscriptions. You get links to the artist's albums, upcoming concert dates, merchandise, personal websites, and any other info they wish to share, as well as a live chat feed for Q&A with the artist, providing new dimensions of audience-performer engagement. You also get live concert hosting experiences from unique venue locations, backyards, basements, bedrooms, wherever you would like to host a concert. There's also a myriad of educational opportunities. If you're a band director, you can play for your students outside prescribed school times, giving them new opportunities to explore and practice their instrument. It serves our mission of being a window to the artistic process, providing insight and appreciation towards the craft as valuable as the final product itself. So there's enormous strengths to becoming a member of Patron. You set your own streaming schedule, and you allocate time in between previously established commitments. You can translate your practice time to profitable opportunity, remove logistical issues by hosting concerts from home rather than at a third party. You can get exposure to a focused audience dedicated to listening to new, unexplored music. You also get that new dimension to performer audience engagement that I mentioned earlier, as well as, yes, exposure to wedding bands, local venues, and other musicians who might need your services as well. So, current trends show that there's a massive surge in the need for video, live streaming video services, much more than VOD or video on demand, such as YouTube or Netflix. 81% of internet and mobile audiences watch more live video in 2016 and 2015. YouTube mobile devices double 100% every year for the last 3 years in live streaming capabilities. 45% of live video audiences would pay for live, exclusive, on-demand video from a favorite team speaker, or in this case, a performer. There's also an increase in home music making, while a decrease in third-party recording studios. Guitars, being 17% of the current instrument music market, would be a primary focus for us as we start, focusing on singer-songwriters who are easily capable of producing music from their bedroom or small location. There's also an upward shift in vinyl, which is signaling a physical interaction and desire to be more close to their music than ever before. Our financial model is primarily driven by acquiring viewers for our website. Viewers would enable us to grab subscriptions, account upgrades to ad-free viewing and higher bitrate streaming, as well as new sources of ad revenue. Merchandising would also be a feature later on. Months 6 through 12, we hope to have account subscription entertainment being our focus, additional merchandise, as well as using earned profit to hire new employees. All right, statistical data that I've collected signals that within 2 years, using 20% of earned profit after taxes, we can pay off our $32,000 starting loan in a matter of 24 months, which is faster than the industry standard of 3 years. So in short, Penny Patron is a new opportunity for emerging musicians to make an imprint on society today. So thank you so much for listening.
So my kids play music, and my question for you is, can I use your platform to pay to not hear them practice? No, here's what I want to know. So is it like, it's like a practice-a-thon?
Pretty much.
So I'm wondering, what kinds of people would pay? I understand how crowdfunding works and why people pay to see the completion of projects that they want. Who would pay to hear someone practice?
To me, it's the drama. To me, it's music education students or musicians themselves who want to self-teach. There's actually research that shows that people value self-taught musicians over musicians who go to music school. The reason being is because they believe that they have the values that will establish themselves as a successful musician in terms of initiative and finding opportunities themselves and working on their own to problem solve.
So again, what is the profile of this person who's going to pay money to watch someone else practice? this?
So the paid money is through micro purchases and micro donations. These are high school students who are doing homework with music in the background. These are students who want to learn more about the saxophone and watch professional saxophonists play. Imagine watching your favorite musician practice and tell me if you wouldn't learn something from that.
So you're watching famous people, right?
You could watch famous people, or you could watch your friends and support them. Rather than use a GoFundMe page or something that establishes donations without any real interaction, you can be a part of their investment into their own musicianship.
Okay, you talked about, it said account upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
So the basic account, what do you get for that?
Free.
Basic account is free.
Anyone can sign up and anyone can
log
log on.
other upgrades, so what do you get for each of those?
So you get one account upgrade at $4.99 a month, and that is a basic upgrade that gets you ad-free viewing, which would offset any lost ad revenue, because if you're signing up for free, obviously we don't make any money. So that's part of it. Monthly subscriptions to individual artists would be split 50-50 between the artist and the website, which would pay for server maintenance and promotion and all the transaction fees that we would incur. On top of that, there's ad revenue that we can establish or sponsored content. If you imagine, I'm a drum set performer, for example. If you had Evan's drum heads, promoting their own channel where they get to test out their heads in front of everybody, have a live Q&A and demonstrate the product for free, wouldn't you do it?
What kind of merchant, I'm sorry. What kind of merchant service are you going to use to do all these?
So the merchant service I used was PayPal as part of my original business proposal, and I can certainly search for a myriad of different opportunities. There's Amazon Pay and a couple other possibilities. PayPal has a 2.9% transaction fee that I implemented into my statistical analysis. So that's what I use as a basis, unless I find something better or more efficient.
How's it going to split? How's PayPal? I think it's pretty simple then. How's that going to work?
They get a small percentage of whatever transaction.
So you have to physically pay. If this gets big, that's a nightmare.
Sure.
I mean,
I'm worried about Square One though, which is getting the website started.
So the payment of it. So am I paying to access? So I pay and then I'm able to see the famous person practice, or am I tipping them if I like what
you can tip if you like what you see. It's a virtual street performer in that sense.
So and I'm not playing like for every 10 hours you practice, I'm going to give you a little.
No, you can just tip whatever you'd like and be on your way.
So it's a tipping service.
Is there an opportunity for the practicing musician to seek a critique or any suggestions on how they might strengthen their talents?
Yeah, so you can divide your channel. If you create a channel on a weekly basis, you can set up days in which you're practicing and what you're practicing. And using the live chat features, you can have Q&A with an audience or other musicians who can give you helpful feedback on how to improve. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do you propose to deal with the legalities of obtaining the rights for the music that the people will be practicing?
Sure. So that was a concern for me as well. Part of it is going to be involved in our terms of use in our agreement. We would like to focus, starting with original music, and that could help avoid a lot of early costs. A lot of the legal material that I have to discover would require further research, but my hope is that we can reach agreements with either record companies or, for example, Hal Leonard and publishing companies who would allow, or perhaps we pay them to allow musicians to practice music on our website. Yes?
You know this company, Artist Share?
I am not familiar with Artist Share.
I encourage you to research that and compare and contrast the mission of the company that you're proposing with that one, because there are some intersections, there are some departures in terms of what you're doing versus what they do, which is more in-product oriented as opposed to formative or in-process product. But I think that would be an interesting thing to discover. Artistshare.com.
Sure, and believe me, I know that there's a lot of competition, especially when it comes to technology and live video streaming. What gives me confidence is the massive trend in demand. So finding the audience to me is, it actually gives me confidence in the fact knowing that there's so many people trying to do it. Now it's a matter of executing it better than everybody else.
One more question?
Yes?
How will you recruit people who want to allow people to listen to them practice?
So I'm going to start here at the best music school in the world.
Woo!
Yeah. Because they're going to receive income every time they practice, and if they practice for 2 hours and get $10 in tips, that's $10 more than they would have had if they practiced in the room on their own. So I hope to reach out to all the musicians here over the next year that I have at UNT and see if people would be encouraged to practice in front of a camera, get the feedback they have, and promote themselves, because eventually they're going to need to emerge as a self-promoting artist anyway.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Don't shut it off too much, because
Yeah.
now Jen has to go.
Oh.
So we have completed the finals with our 3 top teams in the undergraduate track and the graduate track. And now our judges are getting ready to go to the deliberate in the green room. And they will be there for 30 minutes. And so the plan that we have for all of you during these 30 minutes is going to be awesome. So first of all, yesterday afternoon, we had 4 honorable mention teams compete for the opportunity to present in today's grand finale. And they all presented for all 3 judges, and the judges chose 1 honorable mention award winner. And so now we would like to have our honorable mention award winner present their pitch for all of you and answer questions from the audience. And after she finishes, by the way, it's Jen Guzman, our honorable mention award winner. After she finishes her presentation and she finishes with the with audience questions, we will have about 15 minutes in which we would like for you to interact with all the teams and to allow the teams one more opportunity to make their case individually on a one-on-one basis. We will have 1 representative from each team interact with any willing audience member. If you have any pressing questions for one particular team, remember that you will all be voting via text. As soon as we finish with Jen's presentation, there will be a link that you can go to through your phone, and you can vote through your phone. And at 8:45, the voting will close. And this applies both in person and online. So hello to all our online viewers. You will all be able to vote for your favorite team after the completion of our honorable mention award winner. And by 8:45, the voting will close and we will have the selection. So for these 15 minutes between 8:15 and 8:30, you will all be able to interact with our competitors and have any questions and have some time to connect with your audience even further. So I hope you have fun. Okay.
Good evening, and thanks for your attention tonight. I'm thrilled to have the chance to tell you about the ALLEGRO project. My name is Jen Guzman, and I believe that the sole power of music is to connect people. The mission of the ALLEGRO project is to create meaningful relationships and experiences between isolated seniors and musicians by bringing live classical music directly to the nursing homes. So for the people who can no longer bring themselves, we'll bring the music to them. And the purpose of the concert is to uplift and celebrate the lives of seniors while also providing performance opportunities for the plethora of musicians in Denton with gigs in Denton. And it's also a chance for the community to invest in everybody's future by providing these cultural services at nursing facilities. So I've had over 10 years of experience in community outreach, starting by the bedside of my own grandfather. Still to this day, I play for my 99-year-old grandmother with dementia via Skype. And I've also done outreach in elementary schools and middle schools. Along with that, I've had experience working for nonprofits such as the New York Philharmonic, Texas Winds, and the Perlman Music Program. And at the Perlman Music Program, I work in development, so I help with fundraising. And in my first year, donations increased by 15%. And over the last 3 years, I've helped the organization raise over $1.8 million while managing 100 top prospects. So the concerts work in Denton. So it's nursing facilities, Alzheimer's units, memory care units, assisted living, senior centers. And I have a database of all those places, call the activities director, set up a site visit, see where we're going to perform, how many people can she or he guarantee will be there. And once we're there, the logistics of the concert are pretty simple. It's Windworks Woodwind Quintet is the artist in residence, and it's 5 people, 5 music stands, 5 instruments. One service is 2 concerts, so we'll go to Facility A at 10 a.m., do a 40-minute program, and 5-minute drive away, 5-10 minutes, we'll be at Facility B, and we'll do the same program. We like to start with a warm welcome. We often go around and shake the hands of everybody who's there, introduce ourselves, Each member of the quintet will introduce themselves and their instrument during the program, and we like to provide a variety of music. So you can see an example of the program. We have some classical, some jazz, Dixieland, some stuff from musicals, and the variety is really what the residents love to hear. So the cost, each musician will get $120 per service, so that's 2 hours. So for the total cost of the concert is $655. For the first year, I would like to do 2 services a month, and that would be for a total of almost $16,000. The thing about this project is that the nursing facilities, I can only guarantee about 10% of the revenue to come from the activities budget, so this project would be funded by grants and donors. The value is pretty clear in these pictures. I've never arrived at a gig without being thanked by someone before I even play a note, and usually before I leave, I'm being asked when I'm going to be back. I would like to make this sustainable and not just a one-year passion project, so I'm going to need grants and donors, but also I have the opportunity to be under the fiscal sponsorship of Texas Wins, which is an established organization in DFW that's done this outreach for 30 years in Dallas and Fort Worth. But there's a need in Denton because a lot of the musicians from that area that don't want to travel this far for the gig. So over the next 5 years, I hope to expand to more concerts a month and also to host a fundraising gala and get Denton businesses involved where they can donate their goods and services so that the community can buy those items and support the ALLEGRO project. Also, an idea is to partner with UNT with the chamber music program to get some of those on-campus required performances out into the community where they're needed. And I would like to start a foundation as well. Looking forward, I would like to expand the concerts series into more of a residency where instead of just going one time every 3 months to these places, I could go with my group. We could go every Friday for a month, and we kind of build on the last week's progress. We can talk about different topics, different musical topics, and also perform. So we actually do have the time to form relationships with people and not just come in and out for a concert. And I do plan on expanding to other locations, but while keeping the same model of keeping it with the local musicians, professional musicians. And also, it wouldn't just be my woodwind quintet the whole time. We could also have other various chamber ensembles. So I need about $16,000 to get this going in the first year, and I hope you'll consider supporting the ALLEGRO project.
Beautiful presentation and idea. And it's great to go to this whole sponsorship right now. Can you plan to be talking about what this organization for the next coming years?
At this moment, I don't, because I can be under the umbrella of Texas Wins, and they have such a good credibility and experience. I wasn't expanding.
Are they asking for a percentage of your revenue?
Those details are to be worked out, so it's in the working stage.
Is there a way for other musicians to get involved in this sort of opportunity?
I would love to expand it to that as we expand concerts, yes.
We done? Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we have a few moments, 15 minutes for one representative of each team to just go out there and get your audience's vote. Make the case, get to connect with your audience. If you have any questions, and you want to speak with a particular team, I can help you connect to them. So we're here to get to everyone to mix and match. Jesse, I have someone who wants to talk with you.
It's not live yet. It's gonna go up in a few minutes.
decide if they want to contact you.
Okay.
To me, the first focus is I was speaking more towards I was inspired partly by the videos of others who dominate, and one where there's music kind of even actually kind of similar
So 8:45 is the closing.
Yes, that's the closing, but don't post it yet because I haven't posted it.
So they were actually and that sort of he was just so fascinated by the community and the engagement of the that's sort of where thank you so much.
I just wasn't sure if you wanted to like.
It's posted everywhere.
Okay, let's see.
This blonde here, his wife knows about his wife in Georgia. I don't know what happened. He's out and then today had a grandson's birthday.
Fabiana, hold on a second. Wait, let's film the audience and oh, because you're gonna put the information. Oh, great. Okay.
This is exactly
Here it is. Vote. Where do you think we should put it?
I mean, in here that people can see, but not everyone. So I was wondering at the news setup, like where you often put the news thing. I mean, both in here, one for those who are watching, and then at the main page.
Yeah, let's do it here first, huh?
And we just copy paste it into the new.
Wait, where'd it go?
It will go on top.
Oh, it goes on top?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the key? 1962001. Okay, so then should I close this?
Yeah, you can. And then just put it on the
post?
Yeah, post.
Oh, new.
Yeah. That is so the color board in here? No.
Wait, is it HTTPS?
Yeah. Respond.cc. 1962001.
Enter. Publish?
Yeah.
We should put the closing at
Yeah,
8:45.
closing, exactly.
You want to do that on the live video?
film a little bit of the audience interaction with the competitors so you can see what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes. What order do you want the awards to come in? And then put the checks in reverse?
Yes, yes. So 3, 2, 1. Well, let's start with honorable mention. How about we leave the audience choice for the end? Let's keep it dramatic. The audience members are interacting with the competitors, answering questions, giving them a last opportunity to make their case before they cast their vote. I'm trying to fit, I want people to see, you know, what's going on. Oh, it's too fast? Is it looking okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was going too fast before?
Yeah.
When are they going to figure it out?
Just keep it right there for that we got. Yeah.
Is it okay? Mm-hmm. I'm just filming everything so people can see what's going on. Instead of a blank screen.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan. Yeah. So, you know, the art.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Oh, that's the live feed.
Yeah, so I'm filming.
That's cool.
Say hi, Paul.
Hi. Very good. I actually learned something.
I've learned a lot from this experience.
I like it.
Showing the action behind the scenes. Oh, look at you. Are you making a pitch to your live audience?
I am.
Show them the card.
The musician's bookkeeper.
Woo!
Well, Alex should be upstairs.
Contact me.
Yay!
Upstairs.
That was smart.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave it backwards for now until you turn on the screen again.
Anyway, yeah,
Maybe this size is better.
that's the only one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to run, but I certainly did enjoy it. It's very enlightening, and I think you could make it. I think we could really complement. I think we could expand what we're doing. I think it's great. You know, bring in our kids that brings money. No, we have it, but it's gone away. Just go before you leave. The cannabis convention.
you run into the issue. True, of what it was. Sure. Yeah.
Hello, sir. How's it going? I'm also a kind of and actually because of this, I've been offered to do an MBA. I'm currently doing my master's, so it's really
One more year at school.
That'd be a great event.
I'm so glad you thought of that. Nice job.
Yeah, those were good.
Yeah, Well, actually,
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Do you need this on?
No, not anymore.
Is it this one?
Yes! I knew you would.
Is it this one that's hooked up? I just wanted to get rid of that.
Yes.
For pictures.
Thank you. We can just blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we?
You just shut it down?
I don't know. Okay. Let's just shut it down.
you want me to put it up?
So how can we do so that the competitors? Okay, so we'll make the competitors stand here, so they show up on the screen.
It may be good to have the person's PowerPoint wins, because I didn't get photos of every single person with their PowerPoint.
Yeah, but they would have to start coming in and all that. If
So
you
no.
want later, if you want to tell them to do it, feel free to tell them.
Not a big deal unless you want to. Okay.
We're just looking over the piano.
How can we turn this off so that there's nothing on the screen? Okay, so we're going to begin. The judges' feedback is we will have 5 minutes with each team, where the judges are going to give you just some general feedback on your presentation and your businesses. Before that, they will make some general opening remarks about their whole, opinion on everyone. So I think we're ready to start.
Well, it's a lot scarier to be facing the audience like this than the other way. Wow. I just wanted to start by saying, since I'm a visitor in your lands, it has been an absolute pleasure to be here. My hat is off to Dean Richmond, to Dr. Claure, to the faculty and the students here. You guys have a really special program. So. I learned that this is the top music school, so spectacular. And to all of the participants, anyone can have an idea, but it is a big deal to really bring that idea and present it to people. So my hat is off to all of you for the courage and the vision and the work that you did. It was just really impressive, the whole lot of you. Here's what I was looking for in these projects. 3 main things. First of all, I was looking, is this an innovative idea? Does it really get me excited, first of all? Second, is there a feasible financial model? Do I think that they can make the money work? And third, do I believe that this team or this individual would really get this done? So those were 3 things I was looking for.
Well, and just the viability of the project. Like, is it something that you could see still being around in 3 to 5 years? Would you be able to hit the ground running? Nobody had a perfect pitch, but we're looking for potential.
But does anyone have perfect pitch?
I walked right into that.
I'd like to add to that, putting the numbers to your vision and your concept is another challenge, and all of you did quite well. I would only think that moving forward, you might put a little more emphasis on the marketing and the communications, especially the designated audiences, and how to not just inform, but to relate to them. Putting an ad in a trade magazine or running it over your website is not going to build the awareness and recognition that you're going to need. It's a process, but I applaud all of you for the overall vision and the commitment you're making tonight and going forward.
Great. So should we start?
So let's go through in the order of the presentations.
Okay.
So, Festival Finder. This is a problem, as I mentioned. Definitely there are so many festivals that are out there, music camps, that it's hard to find what is right for you and know what you qualify for and know where the dates are. And it could be helpful to have a central place to go. So I like the concept. I do think that it solves an actual problem. The challenge with any website-based application like this is that in order to get people interested in it, you have to have a lot of traffic there, and in order to have a lot of traffic in there, you have to have people really interested in it, right? So there's kind of a catch-22. These things have to be big soon. And when I heard, that there were 200 people that would be on the site, it just seems like peanuts. I was hoping that you would say, our goal is going to be 10,000 or 100,000 eyeballs on this site, and I'd say there's something. So one is about scale. Otherwise, with 200 eyeballs, I just can't imagine that anyone's going to pay any money to be there. And I don't think that many folks will go there. My other main thought for this one is, and for a lot of these groups, could you go further and not just build a platform, but build a brand? right? You're talking about, well, building a resource for people, and that's fine. But what if Festival Finder is the hub for all things music summer camp? And you could have a blog that talks about how, for high schoolers who are looking for music camps, what should you be looking for, and what are the pitfalls, and how do you prepare for it? Become their friend, become a trusted service. We didn't really look at the financial model that deeply, but if you had some money in there, I wonder if it's cool, if somehow if people are registering through your site, maybe even you give away for users who are active on your site, you give away a couple $1,000s of scholarships or whatever it is, so it becomes a destination place for people. So those are a few thoughts.
I think you needed to put a lot more research into it before today in terms of just knowing the number of festivals that are out there. I think that question was posed, and I didn't really feel like it was a satisfactory answer. How many are there? I mean, that's a great deal of research right there. So it's like, to really understand what it is you're doing, you have to know the scope of it. And that was a big thing for me.
Right. And you have a natural audience with your students seeking summer opportunities, but I think if you cultivate those festivals, they can do more than just place an ad with you. They can really be a point of interest in helping you with third-party endorsements.
Have you brainstormed about, can we ask some questions if we have time? So have you thought about different ways that you might just brainstorm, have you different ways that you could make money through this?
Besides the advertisements? No, sir.
Yeah. So that would be a great exercise for you to say, all right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to come up with 100 ways that theoretically, you can't do all 100 of them, but 100 ways to make websites, right? To generate revenue through this website. And probably the first 5 or 10 answers, this could be for any problem you're trying to solve. And the first 5 or 10 answers will be the obvious ones that come to mind first. And then once you get past that, you'll start to get really creative and think about all of the different kinds of opportunities for that. So will the summer camps pay to be there? What service can they apply through the website? I feel like a lot of times for musicians, and this goes to a level of ambition. I feel we were talking about in a session this morning how as we get older, our dreams tend to get smaller, right? We get more practical. And although most musicians I know are very ambitious musically, we tend to be very unambitious when it comes to money and when it comes to goal targets for what we want to do. So I wonder if you could push it and see, if I wanted to attract those 10,000 users, what would that have to look like? Anything else?
Thank you.
Next one. Number 2, sound guard. No, OG guard. What was really great about this, and I'm sorry that the audio clip didn't work, we would have loved to have heard you. It happens sometimes, and when you're selling a band, it's really that statement about the band that gets people hooked. Sometimes they won't hear it first. What I liked is that you guys have really thought about the business model. In terms of the question of can they get stuff done, I felt like they can. They've really thought it through. But I didn't understand what was interesting about you. I asked, what is unique about this group? And the first thing that came out was 5 of the 6 of us are jazz majors at UNT. Right? Now, it's a great program, but the fact that you are students is not going to get folks interested. And I think so much of the time, as artists, we tend to answer questions from a very kind of inward look, just about our perspective. What is your audience perspective? They're not going to get excited about the fact that you know about business models, right? They're going to get excited about the fact that you are very visual on stage, or that you are your band is devoted to a social cause, or that you build a tribe in some way, and something like that. And so that's what I felt was missing from this. Is I didn't understand what was special about this group, other than you were one of a billion bands that are out there. And in the original model, when you're a local group, okay, well maybe the genre of music you play is special. But maybe there aren't groups that, but if you're competing on a national stage, which it seems like you want to, I know there are lots of groups that do this. So you have to really figure out, that's a great exercise for you. Let's say that the audio clip won't work and the video clip won't work. Give us 2 sentences that will get us so excited about what you do. That would be helpful.
I would have loved it if you just broke out in a song. Since we couldn't hear it.
Is that an invitation right now?
No, they've done the presentation.
Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, he's right. You know, it's another band, and I didn't see what was special about yours in your presentation.
And adding to that, if your positioning is the new R&B, you've got some great opportunities in addition to your performances and doing renditions of old R&Bs with new twists, even covers with a new slant, new renditions. But you've got some great merchandising opportunities. R&B is something we live with musically, all of us. And you can...
R&B is Renaissance and Baroque, right?
You have fun just playing with taking Otis Redding, the new Otis Redding and the kid Otis Redding, and personify the new R&B with a new look to an established rendition.
The other issue I wanted to address, it goes back to what we were talking about before, it's the level of ambition. What I heard from your presentation was that you had raised, or you'd made half of the money for the year that you wanted to. You made $1,500, which is good that you actually have a track record of making something that's better than zero. But I did a little bit of math, and it turns out 1,500 times 2 is $3,000, and you have 6 members, and that means that your goal is to generate $500 per musician over the course of the year, if I understood the numbers right. And it just, maybe that's in a first year, you're starting out, but again, I felt like there was a lack of ambition. I didn't feel like this is, our goal is we're going to generate, if this is a serious part of your career model, it may take us 4 or 5 years to get there, but we're going to make $30,000 per player here, and the players will do other things. Well, that's interesting. Maybe it's hard to get to those numbers if you don't know what's interesting about you, right? So if you think that, if you don't have that hook, maybe $3,000 is a lot of money, but if you can figure out that brand, you could build it much, much stronger. Other things? You good? Thank you. Eclective, who I saw yesterday. There was nothing about this pitch like yesterday. It was totally reimagined pitch. You guys were exactly the opposite of the group that went before you. I loved your product. It was so interesting. You got me hooked. It took a long time before we got into the other things. But it just was so interesting. It felt different, and I felt really motivated to be there. My issue today is with, can I believe that they'll make it happen? And whereas with the last group, I felt like they really thought about the numbers and the scale and the likes, the notion that by the end of the year, and it's not even the end of 1 year from now, but by December, in 8 months, you're going to have a show that hasn't even been written here, performed in all 50 states. I love the ambition of this one, right? This was the most ambitious thing we heard today, but it seems unrealistic, and I didn't believe it, and it made me, when you overpromise things, it makes you kind of discount the other things. Like, could they even make one show happen if they really think they're going to do that? So if you had told me, we're going to have 50 shows that go on, or we're going to have a consortium, that's what we were talking about yesterday, having a consortium of organizations from all 50 states, help commission a program, and then we will have 3 or 4 years to work with them. I think the response would have been really different, at least from me in terms of timeline. I don't know about
yeah, my red flag went up when you said that you were the board of directors. I mean, in a nonprofit, you guys cannot be the board of directors. You are each a director on your like one's the artistic director, one's like the theater director. You all get that, but the board of directors is not set up that way. You need to research that. Okay. I also, on the product itself and how you license it, and I hope that you've thought about how that is done. The rights to your work, your original work, and you're just going to throw it out there for somebody in another state to perform, or are you all going to go? There were just some unanswered questions for me to really make it happen. When we were talking, we said, well, what might be a realistic time frame for your goal? And about 3 years. I would have said like 3 to 5 years. to really get that done right. But by December, I don't think it's possible. It would surprise me, but
It'd be great for one.
It'd be great.
I like very much the eclectic concept. It occurs to me there's going to be a great deal of talent putting into conceiving the program, writing, producing, and staging it. And I believe attracting the audiences you're seeking can be another very, very high-profile marketing opportunity, but it's going to require some real strategies. And one that you might want to consider is to, in these communities, there are dance and film and other organizations, art organizations. You might want to ask them to allow one of their representatives, one of their talents, to participate with you in each market in an effort to build audience.
I was wondering, Debbie, you talked about the board of directors and, the performers can't be on their own board. I was wondering if you could address, because maybe there's different levels of knowledge in the room. Who is a good pick for your board of directors? Who typically goes on a board?
Well, I mean, your advocate. You need like officers, and they're the ones that are going to be behind a lot of the fundraising, while you are going to be working on the artistic side, putting the product together. They're going to be like, do we have enough money? They're going to be the ones kind of, making it happen on the money side. Okay,
so like a bookkeeper.
So these are checks and balances, because the IRS takes a nonprofit, they take that very seriously, and you can't just run amok with a nonprofit. So the structure is very, very important. You have to have the bylaws and you have to follow them, like how often the board of directors meet and what they do, and how they're decided and how they rotate. All those things are very, very important. So if you're really going to have a nonprofit, you need to research that very carefully.
Thank you. Go on to the graduate.
These are all the.
You want to announce now? Or?
No, we want to go through all.
No, we have 3 more teams, but we can put the graduate. Okay, so next, jazz immersion program. It sounds so cool. I would love to have done this project. So my hats off. And you've already run a business for 17 years. We didn't get to hear how successful it had been, but anyone who could make something happen for 17 years, that is credibility. There are 2 concerns I had about this presentation. One is just about pitch style, especially in the Q&A session, and this often happens, is the answers were really long, right? So I would really practice having short answers. And sometimes if we don't know how to answer, we tend to go out longer instead of just making a very short answer. The big concern from me was this, that I felt like you didn't understand what the benefits of your program were. I felt like I was spoon-feeding you. I felt like I was giving you the crown with this. What are the benefits? And you said, well, thank you. Here are the benefits to the students in the program. And here are the benefits to UNT. This is how it's going to put UNT on the map in a way that it has never done before. And here are the benefits to the Village Vanguard Orchestra. And here are the benefits to the donors who are going to be involved with it. And here are the benefits to a community that's going to be impacted by whatever it was. And I felt like you just didn't understand the benefits of your program. And so one great idea, when you're pitching to someone, instead of asking, and if you want to raise money for this, which I think Debbie will talk about, you want to talk about not just what you want, right, but how it will make the world a better place and how it will benefit each of those groups. So if you're going to go to the dean, for example, and ask for a lot of money, it would be really helpful if you know, this is why this is a good investment for your school. This is what it will do for UNT.
Yeah, the fact that you hadn't really done any fundraising yet, it surprised me for someone who's had initiatives for 17 years, and that you didn't seem to really have a grasp of that, at least in your presentation. And so that needs to be a little bit more to the fore, like, it's going to cost, this is how I want to raise the money, and of course, a prize would help, but yet, here's my plan. And I didn't get that from you. I think that's really critical because you're basically having the students go without having to pay anything. So someone has to pay for that. I know that besides housing, putting them up in homes, things of that nature. But I think that needs to be part of your presentation a little more strongly.
Just as an aside, I know that Dr. Claure is very wealthy.
Just to, I believe you've got some great PR opportunities with interviewing the professional musicians, some icons, and having them share their experience with the students. So that there's a great audience building opportunity among musicians to want to work with your students, as well as building recognition for the program.
The one thing on the plus side, I believe that you can make this happen. I just wanted to mention it. It seems it's feasible. I'm a little worried about the money side of it, based on the presentation. But it seems like a feasible project, and I hope it does. And if you need a campsite. Okay, musician's bookkeeper. Where are we looking? There we go. Okay. I like the problem. I think you've identified a real problem. There are bookkeeping issues with a lot of musicians, like my wife, Emily. Who I haven't met. No, like Emily. But I didn't agree with your solution. I just don't think that musicians who can't do basic bookkeeping are going to pay $780 minimum a year to do this. If someone is really that financially illiterate, the fact that they're going to have almost $1,000 to spend on this seems unrealistic. And there's a reason that usually there are two ways to solve any problem. There's the expensive way to do it, the exclusive way for big companies or whatever it is, and there's the cheap way. So QuickBooks already automatically will do a lot of these things. You can have it automatically enter your records, and it will sort it out into the different categories and the likes. So what I would have liked as a solution was, if you're concerned with helping musicians become more financially literate when it comes to bookkeeping or other things, what if you have a service which is, and you'd have to do some customer research, which I felt like you hadn't done. I felt like you said, well, I talked to one dude in Austin or something like that. But if you'd really done some surveys and figured out, all right, here's how much the market will support. You pay $250 a year or $200 a year or whatever it is. And one of the things that includes is every 6 months, I'm going to do a video conference talking about financial literacy for musicians like you. And part of that is you're going to get this subscription to QuickBooks, which already does these things, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And I would have liked that. The one other thing that said, because I was trying to figure out your business model, because it seemed like you weren't really charging that much, even though it's a lot for musicians, it's not a lot for you. And one of the things that was a red flag for me was the idea that you're driving to your customer. They're not even coming to you. So I said, why don't you, if that's really it, charge them less, and then they can drive to you. So
bookkeeping is pretty generic. It occurs to me you might enhance your positioning by adding something like record management, bookkeeping and record management. And think about some of the additional related services you can provide, and then offer them as a package or a la carte.
I just want to make sure it's not a generational thing. When you say record management, you don't mean like, I think we call that making a playlist. Oh, it's a different kind of record. No, he bought some records later. Okay.
He's been at us all.
Yeah, but there's more than bookkeeping. There's a lot of need to manage.
I know there's a need for this. I mean, I get asked fairly regularly, who do I recommend? And I personally know some active performers. One is a CPA, one is a bookkeeper, who perform this service. I think if you decide or go after one particular demographic of the music community, or start small, of course, it's always the best way, but perhaps something that, let's say they can't even afford QuickBooks, some kind of service for poor Emily, okay? I mean, really poor Emily, okay? Something that can really help her, because maybe she just needs to know how to save an extra $1 or $2. I mean, just start, even if it's something that you can just free advice in the beginning. They have to gain trust. No one's going to turn over their financial information easily. When you get those credentials, I know that they're coming. I think that, you know, find a small way to get the foot in the door there, a real niche, because there is a need.
And part of this is like we talked about with the Festival Finder, right? Building a brand. So you could be blogging about tips so that you win that trust, right? I thought this was really interesting. It was a really kind of innovative idea. I just didn't buy that people would pay money for this thing. I just can't imagine that anyone is going to pay money to watch a high school kid practice. But I got a few other ideas. But I think sometimes you start with an entrepreneurial idea and you don't quite have the right angle, and you keep exploring and you come up with something. And I thought of, so I'm going to race you to it, 2 different takes off of this that really do excite me in different ways. And I don't know if you like these or not. But do you know the term buskers? Yeah. That's a Canadian term. But it means street performers, right? So maybe we can't use that. So one of my ideas, inspired by what you said, is what if you had Penny Patron and the tagline is think Kickstarter for virtual buskers or street performers, right? Where you could go online, instead of going in the subway of New York City, you could go online and you could watch all these like street performers playing on pots and pans and doing all these interesting things, and then you could leave your tip. That's one thing I think people would do. Here's another thing, and I love the idea when you said about professional musicians practicing, but then you backed off of it. Here's something I think I would maybe pay for and people in this room might pay for. Not if I like what they did, but I've heard lots of professional performers and their final product, right? And oftentimes when practicing a new piece, we listen to how it comes out at the end. But I would love to know how some of the greatest pianists, in my case, actually got from point A to where they are. And I might pay money to see the first time that they practice a piece. How do they break it apart? Do they start with the left hand? Do they start with the right hand? Do they start just playing the harmonies without the rhythms? I think that would be fascinating to watch a jazz musician and see how do they tackle, what actually do they work on in their session? Are they playing by themselves? Are they playing with Ebersol recordings? I think it would be, so if there were a subscription service, you mentioned Artist Share, right? But there's another service called Artist Works. Actually, there are a bunch of services like this where you can have a subscription fee to have access to lessons by really famous musicians or whatever it is. But I think it would be amazing if you paid a subscription fee or maybe a one-time fee for a certain amount of time to access videos where you could watch these famous people and accomplished musicians practicing, and maybe they would talk about their struggles and what they've had to overcome. That, I think, would be a cash cow.
Well, the fact that, wasn't it said about original material only?
Not necessarily in terms of finding out what is the responsible legal way of approaching that and copyright. If I could answer that too, but that was the point. I wanted to have drums and struggle with people practicing and like that.
But nobody's interested in a high school student drama.
Not necessarily.
I'm saying, so sometimes we try to be all things to all people, and that usually fails, right? So my suggestion for anyone, I'm being a little bit hard. You say, find who you are in your identity and be that thing, as opposed to trying to make it so broad that it really just doesn't grab anyone.
Yeah, I had a hard time just seeing how this would actually flesh out in practical terms. You know, like, who are the artists? You know, when I read your plan last week, that was like one of my, well, who's going to decide who the artist? It was the way it was presented in the plan. And there are just a lot of things that need to form up a little bit more. And then it's the viability question that I had. Can this work? I cannot see it today. but I think that it could tomorrow, maybe, it would just making some decisions like what he suggested. The whole idea of penny patron is cool, I have to say. I just don't know how it's going to work out. You know, it hasn't convinced me that what I pay money and what's my benefit for that.
And if there's an opportunity to advance the learning of students in a very emotional, positive way, then I think you've really serviced the need, and how you execute that we're going to talk about. But I love the concept.
Okay, well, thank you, judges, for your wonderful remarks. Before we announce our winners and have our award ceremony, I would like to invite our Dean, Dr. John Richmond, to give a few remarks to our wonderful audience in attendance, both here and online. So, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to have all of you here. It's inspiring to have heard these presentations and to know of the many other presentations we didn't get to hear, but that are a part of this new curriculum, new initiative. I'm new too. This is my first year here at UNT as the Dean. I come here from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, where we've been working on entrepreneurship issues, entrepreneurship question, forged an entrepreneurship graduate certificate, had multi-arts entrepreneurship days, all as a part of a curriculum there. So I've been drinking the entrepreneurship Kool-Aid for a while and really believe in it. And so congratulations to all of you. I was inspired by your enthusiasm, your vision, your creativity, your courage. Your courage about these ideas. It's a really frightening idea, this notion of forming your own business as opposed to working for someone else. It's a scary idea to come into a room like this and pitch these ideas publicly and then get grilled in front of God and everybody who's out there on Facebook. So we're very proud of you and inspired by you. To our judges, to David and to Debbie and Stan, thank you so much. And of course to Fabiana for your magnificent leadership of this inaugural year. So in modeling this very behavior, this very activity, I'm going to try to model a little bit of it for you and also to give you an opportunity to practice your voting, but to a different purpose, and that is to give you the opportunity to give these students, this college, this program a high five. And here's how you do it. Get out your phones.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Get out your phones. You guys get out your phones. All of you streaming in, get out your phones and get out the texting function. Students, get out your phones. Think I'm kidding? TikTok, get out your phones. And on the texting function, the 2, you type in 4, 1, 4, 4, 4. And then on the message part, it's just H, I, and the number 5. No spaces. H, I, 5. H, I, 5. And hit send. And wait just a little bit, and you'll see a prompt comes back to you. You see it? You see it? Yes, you see it? No, you don't see it? Yes, you see it. Good. And so there's a hyperlink there. You touch that hyperlink. Don't worry, you're not committing anything yet. But you'll see an opportunity whereby you can give students a high $5 in support of programs like this one, innovative programs here at the college that help. I will tell you that if you don't have time or are not so inclined today, you'll get a reminder tomorrow, and you'll get a reminder in 3 days, and you'll get a last reminder. I promise you the last one in 7 days. It's a terrific way to do a small thing that makes a big difference. Thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you for the opportunity to make my own pitch, and have a good evening. Thanks.
Mention Award, which we know is Jen Guzman. So I would like to welcome Jen to the stage. And so now we're going to begin with the announcement of the third place winner in the undergraduate category. Okay, so our third place winner in the undergraduate track is Festival Finder. Our third place winner was $1,000. Our honorable mention winner was $500. Our second place winner was $2,500. And our first place winner is $5,000. Congratulations, Eclectic. Okay, now we move on to the graduate track. We'll begin with the third place, $1,000. Musicians Bookkeeper. Our second place winner in the graduate category, recipient of $2,500, is Penny Patron. And our first place winner in the graduate category is Jazz Immersion Program. That's a good way to start the fundraising. That's right. Turn it right back. I know. Okay, and now it is time to announce our final award, which is the Audience Choice Award at $1,000. So
we had over 215 people vote.
215 people cast their votes online and here. So this is really exciting. The winner of the Audience Choice Award is OG Garden. So before we wrap up today's event, I would like to also share some very exciting news with our audience in regards to some of our finalists that you have seen today. There is a competition in the College of Business called the Westheimer New Venture Competition that is actually going to be launched this spring as well, next Friday. They will be presenting the finalists who have been selected through a preliminary phase of a written competition. And we actually have 4 students from the College of Music that have made it to the finals of the College of Business. So they were able to double dip their business plans, and that's awesome. And so I'd just like to bring them up and just give them all the best wishes for next Friday. We have Kyle from Musicians Bookkeeper. Come on here, they want to see you. Come on here. We also have Jen Guzman, is another one of the one of our finalists is actually an honorable mention recipient. His name is William Root from Triple Threats Theatricals. Is William here? I don't think he's here. But he's an undergraduate, actually. He's a sophomore, I believe. So he's doing a theater, Triple Threat Theatricals. And he's also one of the, and who else? Sean Murphy is another one. He's an honorable mention. So Sean Murphy from the music studio teacher. He's a graduate student, and William Root, and these two. So we're really excited. So thank you so much for joining. We hope this experience has been very engaging, and thank you for supporting our college. Thank you for supporting our students. Thank you for our wonderful judges and all their help. And it's been a great experience. I feel honored to have been given this opportunity. Bye, everybody. Maybe we could leave it just so they can see the people kind of mingling at the end. We'll have to. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me a hug. It's so great to see you. Keep doing this. Yes. It's very supportive. Did good.
Undergraduate teams, please hear me do some group pictures, and then graduate teams are here. So let's
Thank you so much.
I'll get that photo.
So, celebratory drink.
So let's get all the undergraduates. You want the undergraduates?
Congratulations.
Well, this is Dr. Claure.
Okay, so is this all one group? No, let's do each individual group with a check. So that every individual group has a photo with the judges.
Should we go in concert order?
Yeah, so we're going to go and call out a group, call out a group, call out a group. We'll get it done quick.
All right.
Eclective.
There you go. Thank you.
I got it.
Thank you. I'm going to back up.
We got a cluster out here.
Yeah, cluster. Bring it in.
Tight, tight, tight. All right, here we go.
Oh, there she is.
Ready? One. Okay, everybody close your eyes. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, open, click. Okay? Everybody's eyes are open.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. All right, 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. One more. Change my stuff a little bit. Okay, 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. All right. Next group.
Next group. Statues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, there she is. Would you like to help us with that, or do you want to? Sure. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, here you go. Beautiful.
Okay, here we go. 3, everybody close your eyes. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. Next. We're good? Okay, we're good.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Awesome.
Good job, guys.
Grab, Kelly.
I know.
Look at this.
Okay.
Two checks.
Everybody close your eyes. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. Thank you. Next.
Bookkeeper.
Oh, there you go.
Don't jump there.
All right, yes. Close your eyes.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. I like that.
Penny patron.
You want to here we go.
I think I could be like a wedding planner.
You can't tell I done that.
Congratulations.
All right. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. Next. Oh, let's do one more.
Wait.
One
Back
more.
here.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. Next.
Jessica.
All right.
And then we'll get one.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's not upside
And
down.
honorable mention.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1, open. Love it.
There you go.
Honorable mention?
Yeah.
Good.
I really Sing 5 like
High five.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Lovely.
Here we go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. All right, now let's get all of our, everybody who's in the competition.
All the competitors.
Go.
Picture.
Go. No, it doesn't matter.
Where's Kyle? Find him. Where's Kyle? No, we're missing one. I saw him.
Oh, really? He left?
Snooze, you lose.
Our bookkeeper?
He's got it on it.
Don't do what I do. Okay. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. All right, we got it. Oh, let's one more. Hold on.
One more.
It's a little bright.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, open. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hey, Curtis. Curtis.
It'll be hard. It's gonna be long. It's gonna be a lot of work.
What's your funny? Is the right Thanks, sir.
Big old escape cars in there.
Part of what makes it get excited with you.
Did he come back?
No, but anyways.
Did they take a picture?
Yes.
We work to have a very diverse group. Diversity would go east, diversity would folks.
Is this still recording?
Yeah, but we can turn it.
Do you think so? Let's do it. Turn it away from us, because I want to take that thing back to
Okay.